down, that gap. It is coming down in the Constructors' Championship. 24 points between Mercedes in second and Ferrari in third. And it's so good that we've seen Yuki Tsunoda manage to produce his best qualifying performance in 10 races at his home race. And he will go in with huge motivation now. And I think the greatest satisfaction for him, Jolien, is that he's had great pace all the way through his Formula One career. It's just been delivering in the key moments, and right then, he did.
Yep, he did. That's a home race for him as well. It means a little bit more to be doing such a good job at your home race. Any Q3 appearance for the likes of an AlphaTauri, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, they're all like a mini victory for these guys. But Tsunoda's got a chance to deliver something special in front of his home crowd tomorrow. It's interesting. I wonder what he'd be doing alongside Pierre Gasly this year. That's what I can't help but wonder. He's had 3 different teammates, and he's done a great job against all of them. De Vries obviously dismantled. Ricciardo, we've only had a couple of races sample, and it was sort of 1-1 between those two. And we still don't really know exactly which Daniel Ricciardo we've got as well. Was it the Grand Prix winner Daniel Ricciardo, or was it the McLaren Daniel Ricciardo that looked like he just lost a little bit for whatever reason? Lawson's come in and done a solid job, but I still wonder what last year's yardstick Gasly would be doing in that car. Has Tsunoda taken his game on, or is he thriving in this team leader role? Is he really moved forward? And it looks like that objectively, but yeah, just question where Gasly would be if we still had the same reference points. He's had quite a few different ones at the moment. So Red Bull are likely to win the championship this weekend, aren't they? 308 points at the moment. They need one more point to Mercedes tomorrow, and they've done it. And with the pace they've got, they're very likely. Verstappen is on form this weekend.
This is one of the best parts of the weekend. The sound of Formula One cars, just 10 of them left, leaving the pit lane. The crowd applauding, waving some of them out of the commentary box window. There's the green light, and we have 12 minutes, and it's time to send both Red Bulls out onto the circuit. The Ferrari's waiting. Charles Leclerc will be desperate to end this run on form of being the second Ferrari on the grid. If Sainz out qualifies him today, they are level in their head-to-head. And Leclerc, such a proud qualifier. He's so fast on a Saturday. Will not want that record at all. Fernando Alonso fought his way through in the Aston Martin, but I think fight is absolutely the word for his weekend so far. Only marginally ahead, 4 hundredths of a second ahead of Liam Lawson there. It tells its own story. So it's one AlphaTauri, and it is the driver that they all wanted to see for the full qualifying hour. Yuki Tsunoda out there at the moment. And we haven't seen a track dominance graphic comparing those two, but you can see the Red Bull very impressive in a straight line, and Tsunoda making a lot of ground up in the middle part. Certainly the S's, he's very impressive. What a sight. It's really steep, the banking here around. The grandstands are steep, so is the banking. It's fully in Yuki Tsunoda's peripheral vision as he builds up for his first Q3 lap since May.
Used tyres, it looked like, on his car, so we'll have to keep an eye on what rubber all the cars have got on this outlap. Verstappen I saw definitely on new. It looked like the McLarens were both leaving the garage on new tyres because they saved that set in Q2. I'm not sure about the rest. Looks like there's a fair few on used tyres, still with half an eye on the Grand Prix tomorrow. Tsunoda looked like was one of them on a used set as he left the garage. So I think we may well get one final flourish with everyone in, and the first foray might just be this man.
Feedback, turn 11 before there was a gust of tailwind.
Hamilton, Tsunoda on new sets, but the 3 drivers who look like they're in the mix for pole, they are out there on the new tyres. So this is a run that counts. This is a run that is important. We're inside the 10-minute window. Max Verstappen looking to get back on top in Formula One. For the last couple of qualifying sessions, it's all been about Carlos Sainz, and he's been the top of the pile. Verstappen looking to seize back pole and take his 9th of the year as he attacks one of the very best sections in all of motorsport.
Where can he put this car? So far, at 29.8 is the quickest he's done in Q1. Quickest anyone's done so far this weekend. Surely he's got more in the tank, and 1 minute 29 would be a pretty tough target for anyone to beat. He's dialed in, he's on it, he's so well honed through this weekend, and he looks pretty much inch perfect through the deckness, doesn't drop that left-hand wheel. over the ridge curb on the exit there. He can go a little bit wide of this apex, but he carries a fair amount of speed in there. Uses the curb on the limited grip on the exit, as you'd expect.
This is a statement of intent from Verstappen. Remember, his benchmarks here will be the other drivers on new tyres, but this looks like it's on fast forward for the World Championship leader. This is the best lap that we've seen all weekend long, and he's got a couple of corners to go, Jolien.
He was on rails through Spoon there. The speed he carried in with the turn in, the front end was sharp, but the rear didn't give him any grief. That was so well pinned through Spoon. 2 corners to go, little nudge of understeer through the first part of the chicane. No issues with traction.
Line. Wow, this has been a absolutely supreme lap. A 1:29.0. That is a gauntlet thrown down and a half. Perez will try and respond immediately across the line, and he's 1.4 seconds back on the old rubber. Let's see what the McLarens can do, though. They are on new rubber. Hamilton gets a time on the board, again, miles off, 1.7 seconds. What can the McLarens do? That's the question. Verstappen setting down an absolutely mighty time. Piastri gets within half a second. What about Lando Norris, who's been the lead McLaren driver more often than not? He's 12.3 up on his teammate all the way through. His rookie Australian teammate Lando Norris looking to book his place on the front row, but he's behind his teammate, and Max Verstappen in a league of his own after run 1. Piastri looking to be the lead McLaren on the grid for the 4th time in his rookie season.
Yeah, hop out the car, Max. It's job done. It is job done with that flyer. Nearly half a second to the good over the car that looks the most threatening through this weekend on pure pace so far. Piastri's done a brilliant job to get himself ahead of Norris. Those two have got one more flyer on another new set if they want it. Half a tenth between the two, and really impressive from Oscar to up his pace on his first visit to this circuit. But no one's going to touch that from Verstappen. That's done.
Johnny's just shredded the commentary rulebook, where normally we'd be like, oh, it could be a mighty lap.
But the lap,
special.
The lap, we saw it on board. We saw it.
4/10 is not going to happen. That was amazing from Max Verstappen. We've still got to sort the rest of the order out. They're all going to put new tyres on. There will be lots to watch in the remaining moments, but that felt like someone had clicked fast forward on his lap. It was superb throughout.
Yeah, the poise of that car there, the commitment of Max at the wheel, and it was just almost inch perfect there driving, having very, very minimal steering inputs, but you could tell he was right on the edge of it as well. And that was a really, really brilliant lap. He's obviously got another new set of tyres. He can go out and improve, and might as well give it a shot. We'll see what Russell and Alonso can do in this phase here. 6 minutes left, and they're going to go with the track to themselves for a run.
Yeah, both on new tyres, I believe. Both of these drivers have bolted on a new set of the Pirellis, so we will get a time from everyone on those new tyres. So Perez was on the old, Hamilton was on the old, the top 3 were all on new, and the big headline so far that it's Piastri the lead McLaren, not Norris. In the qualifying session where Oscar Piastri, the weekend I should say, where Oscar Piastri has got his new contract that takes him all the way to 2026 with the Woking base team.
And he's got the upgrades as well. Didn't have them last time out. Lando's generally been getting favour on McLaren upgrades this year, and Oscar showing why he's got the new contract. I'm sure a chunky pay rise as well for him, having delivered in a rookie season, and he's really proving it right now. And even if Verstappen might have this sewn up, there's still a battle for the front row. I'm still waiting to see what the Ferraris can do. Can Russell get himself somewhere near the mix after a great qualifying session?
Okay, so we'll be go 1. Russell's 20 seconds ahead of you. We'll be go 1.
Well, Max Verstappen last year was on pole here for the first time in his Formula 1 career, and he just drove away from the field by a mile in a shortened race. He just loves this configuration. Wow, that was a great shot of the first egg. Now you can see that Russell is 7/10 of a second away on those new tyres. He's looking to just get close to the McLarens. On the evidence of this, he needs a mighty final sector, but the problem is that really is all about straight line speed, so he's trying to make the difference now. Russell chasing it.
Strat 2, good to go.
It's actually a poor first sector from Russell. That's one of his weaker through qualifying so far. Alonso in the Aston is a couple of tenths to the good, but the Aston Martin does drop pace through the rest of the lap. So we'll see with the two of them head to head, still with the track just to themselves. So they've had the same idea. at Mercedes and Aston Martin to do this. Hamilton waits in the garage in the other car. Russell's a second down through 2 sectors. The final sector is short. Here it is. 2 corners, really.
Not much left for George Russell, looking to be the lead Mercedes on the grid for the 4th race in a row, and he goes up to 4th position. The last of those to set a run on the new tyres. Yuki Tsunoda went out on the old as well, so it's old tyres, top 4 new tyres, and then 5th, 6th and 7th on the olds. Alonso on new tyres at a track he adores, at a race that he won at in 2006, goes behind Perez's effort on the old rubber, and that, Jolien, tells the story of Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso's weekend.
He lost it.
Watch for traffic. He's slow, okay.
First sector, but again, the lap time just ebbed away as the lap went on. That car, they've kind of disappointed in Aston Martin the way that their progression has been through the year. They had so much potential with the car they unleashed at the start of the season. Wind tunnel time, CFD time, they had allowance because they're down in the championship last year, but they've been well and truly outdeveloped, and it shows right now. Alonso's going to tumble down when everyone else is they're now out on circuit.
Eyes on dash, target +1 on the tyres. Target is +1.
The difference in strategy is over. Ferrari, can they get on terms with McLaren, and can either Piastri and Norris turn the wick on with the lap of their life and bridge the gap for the 4 tenths? It would be astonishing if they could, but rule nothing out in Formula One. But Verstappen's got a good margin. It should be about the battle for 2nd place between the McLarens and the Ferraris.
Well, Max still fancies improving as well, and he's the car ahead of Charles Leclerc as we look down towards 130R. That is Max out there trying to improve in the Red Bull as well, so he wants a little bit more in this. The McLaren gap to Russell is pretty huge, 8 tenths. So that shows their pace is, but Ferrari are the team that maybe have the potential to unlock a little bit more. Leclerc letting Russell past him. Russell is going to come into the pit, so he must have been told that. Yeah, there he goes. And here goes Charles for a flyer.
So Charles Leclerc getting his time on the board on the new tyre. Max Verstappen trying to improve on the brilliance of run number 1. He is going through on the left-hand side of your picture, through the S's, looking to go even faster still. And the mini sectors that we get in the commentary box paint a pretty decent picture for Max Verstappen, who's looking to get that time even lower around here. It looks like it might be a good first sector for him, and it is. He's exactly a 1/10 of a second up. Let's see how Charles Leclerc responds to that as he comes through now. He's going through Dunlop corner, and Verstappen faster still. Everyone just trying to hang on to his coattails.
Leclerc's half a second down in the first sector, and this is a quick Ferrari as well. Sainz is 6 tenths down on Verstappen.
Gave it a good go, but the just wasn't really biting. Sector 1 just sliding around a bit, but
still very much advantage Verstappen versus everyone.
Absolutely astonishing pace from Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, well, they are just hoping that they've got something for the McLarens, who are 4 tenths of a second away. Still, Verstappen is up by 1/10 of a second out front, and it's the battle for the front row that we're focusing on. Let's complete the lap on board with the man who is chasing his 9th pole position of the season.
that's where we fall out.
Yeah, copy that. Just wait for these cars to finish their laps.
To do it, a 1:28.8, and now we'll look further down the field. Where can Leclerc and Sainz go in relation to the McLarens, who will get another response? It's only 4th for Charles Leclerc, who's going to be the lead Ferrari on the grid. It's been this man for 3 races in a row. He won last time out, and Sainz is behind his teammate now. Piastri versus Norris is our next battle for the front row. Here comes the McLaren over the line, and it's Piastri not to improve. Does that open the door for Lando Norris to get to the front row? No! He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And Oscar Piastri finds himself on the front row in Formula One unless there's a response for Sergio Perez. Yuki Tsunoda has gone up to 7th place, and now the driver who finished 2nd in the Japanese Grand Prix here last year will try and make it 2 Red Bulls on the front row. Can Perez do it as he comes across the line? No, he's behind his teammate, the 2 McLarens, Charles Leclerc, and he finds himself in 5th position, so Lewis Hamilton will complete this quality.
Yeah, all good. I didn't get anything at all in the slipstreams. Bit frustrating.
Tsunoda down to 9th, but it is Verstappen and a McLaren on the front row of the grid, but it's Oscar Piastri who becomes the 4th Australian to start on the front row in Formula One. And what a club this is to be part of. Brabham, Webber, Jones and Ricciardo have been joined by Oscar Piastri with Verstappen on pole.
28.
Duly taken.
That was outstanding, Max. Absolutely. There you go, 28.
Duly taken.
That was outstanding, Max. Absolutely outstanding.
That first sector was really enjoyable.
Of the very best. No one could get near him, but the man who will start alongside him on the front row in Formula One is Oscar Piastri for the first time.
Yeah, well done everybody, thank you. The first lap was pretty good, the second one nailed the tricky stuff and up the less tricky stuff, so yeah, well done everybody, thank you. The first lap was pretty good, the second one nailed the tricky stuff and up the less tricky stuff, so thank you.
To try and wrestle the lead, at least into turn 1 from Verstappen, but I mean, no one's got a chance, surely. His first lap was good enough to be nearly on pole by nearly half a second, and then he went and improved by over a tenth, dropped it into the 1:28. He has battered the opposition this weekend. He's battered them, and he's battered his teammate by a good 0.8 of a second as well.
Max Verstappen took Singapore personally. He's on pole.